All right, cool. Sweet. I've got Sandy Marlisa, and I don't want to mess up your name.
Eli J. Ingram.
See, I couldn't pronounce that. There,
It's all good.
That's the reason why. Welcome. I'm glad you guys were able to come on. Lots to talk about. So let's kind of like start off with who you guys are in the community, because I know you guys are in the music scene, and you guys have been doing. How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing the music scene my whole life, personally, here. But we've been doing Jack and Jen for nearly 5 years now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I started out, I was the manager at Lights Music on the beach.
Were you really?
Yeah, and so that's where I got my chops up, I got to admit. I'd have people come in, and I remember specifically this dude played Beast of Burden, and I was like, stop. Show me how you did that. Yeah. And that was pretty much what I did every single day. 6 days a week at least. And so, yeah, man, I was at Lights Music, learning how to record my own music. That's how I've done our studio albums. Got my chops there, and then COVID-19 came, and that was it. So I've been gigging since COVID.
Okay.
But we got together. We met at Little Village. I was performing a show with my 80s synth pop band, DeNuvo, and he came in with a hood on. He wanders into the corner.
Times were tough.
That was during COVID. And he was just like making these eyes at me. And I went over there. He was sitting with his parents, and I had said something, and they were cracking up laughing. And I was like, what are they laughing at? So I went over there and I talked to him, and his dad really made most of the conversation. He didn't really talk to me too much, but he was like, so my son plays guitar. How does he get into the music scene here? And so I told him how, and then he started showing up to my shows, and it just kind of went from there.
And if you would have seen my studio apartment, I had a studio apartment, and it was guitar, amp, ukulele, and then more amps and guitars. And it was like, we're locked down. Do you remember that time? That was such a weird time, wasn't it? We're all locked down. And I'm just looking at all this music gear every day, and I'm like, how could I not?
I remember there was like some musicians during that time period that like I used to go out and listen to, and I found out they were doing live shows on Facebook, like in their apartment.
Yeah.
And, like the band got together, and they literally, and I was like, I could sit there and still drink a beer, listen to a good band.
Yeah, I think Tyler James was one of the big ones that did that, actually. Yeah, I do remember that. I was actually in the bar performing.
It was a cool musical time because you had a lot of time to write. You had a lot of things, a lot of new emotions, man. We're all like locked down and don't talk to your family, don't talk to your friends. Everyone's going to make you sick. And it's like, wow, what is wrong with us?
Yeah, I know, right?
It was actually really great for me because I could get whatever gig I wanted. I played every bar. I was working like 7 times a week, doubles on Saturdays. And I met all of these people from all over the world, and I'd sit and talk to them, and they were like, I was like, what are you doing here? What brought you here? And they're like, well, COVID, and I work remote, so I can go anywhere. I figured I'd go to the beach.
The media had us scared. I don't know about you, but I was living in Nashville at the time, and I
okay, we have something in common.
Yeah, so I lived in a house full of musicians. Everyone just rented out one room from this dude who had, the house, and the guy upstairs was from Canada, and he's like a big country singer, and he had gotten COVID. This is the first experience where I knew someone with COVID, and his room was directly above mine. And I just heard him yakking all night, vomiting. And I was just laying there like, it's coming to me. It's going to come down from the ceiling, and this is it,
It's going to sleep through the floor, and it's going to hit me. It's going to be like Venom from the movie. Like,
it's like, coming through the vents.
Monster. So when COVID first hit, I was at Fort Campbell, which is about 45 minutes north of Nashville.
Is that like Clarksville area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Clarksville, Tennessee.
I stayed in Clarksville for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I lived there for a little while.
Nice. Yeah.
But I remember when Nashville. So I had received a pretty decent injury while I was in. I had an appointment that was down in Nashville at Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And when I went down there, like on the news that morning, they were showing Vanderbilt Hospital and how all these Gerties and beds and stuff were out in the parking garage, and how they were just so packed full. So I was like, I have an appointment down there. I got down there. There's like nobody there. I have no idea what they were filming, but it wasn't where I went. And so that was one of my many experiences with like the media and being like, whoa, what are you guys doing?
What's really
Like,
going
Interesting.
on?
what's going on? Because this isn't it. And so, but no, I remember going into Nashville when COVID was kind of going on. It was dead.
Yeah.
And you drive down Bourbon Street normally, or not Bourbon Street.
Broadway?
Broadway Street.
Bourbon Street.
It's okay. That's New Orleans.
You'd go down. You'd
One
go
of
down,
the music cities.
Yeah, you'd go down Broadway, and it was just like dead.
Yeah.
And that's not
A
normal.
lot of Nashville artists actually came here because there was work.
Yeah.
And they figured out that Panama City Beach, it was open because it's Florida. And Ron DeSantis was like, hey, it's okay, y'all, to go alcohol. Everything's all right.
Yeah.
The bars are open.
Yeah.
Come to Florida. And so everyone came here.
Get your margarita to go.
And a lot of Nashville artists actually figured that out. And so
Yeah.
they came down for a couple years to coast through COVID.
Do you ever go to the local spot out there? That's like my main spot I went to there because it was just songwriter nights every single night.
My experiences on Broadway, I was in the Army with my platoon. So our platoon buddies. So those nights are like, good luck trying to figure it out. Because I have no idea what happened a lot of those nights. I was down there. Yeah, I got some stories though.
Yeah, I believe that.
But let's talk about the music scene here. You guys pretty much perform like where? Where's like your main?
We've played probably every venue down.
Really?
Probably everyone. Newbie's Mothership. We haven't done
We
that
haven't
one.
played
That's
Newbies.
That's the one I'm like, come on, Miss Newbie. But other than that, yeah, we've
Played every venue at least once. We've had difficulty getting gigs in town lately.
Okay. That's some of what we're going to talk about today.
we got some stories for you, man.
Cool. Well, I am extremely interested in that. So we can get started with that, or we can talk about your book.
Let's talk about my book.
I saw that your book is it already available down at Bookish Boutique?
It is not this one, but my first one.
Okay.
Not my first one, but the first one in this series. So this
Flurries.
is Waterwind for the people, and it is my second book in my Confessions of a Rock Star series. So
Okay, so my wife has frequented Bookish Boutique a couple of times.
okay,
Yeah. I love the books that she gets.
they like the
Opens
adult,
a lot of doors.
the spicy books.
Yes, they wrap them, and then you take it, and you're like, I don't know what this is. And now
It's one of those. Have you guys seen some of those TikToks where the guy's earphones will pick up on like what his wife's thing is playing?
no!
And he's just like turns around and she like takes off. And it's like,
That's so good.
yeah, I've experienced this where it's like, yeah, my wife's out. I'm waiting for something to load on my computer. Or I'm working on something. I'm like, I gotta wait for this, and so then I'm.
What is this?
This is what you want?
Right.
I made it happen, baby.
So I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. My favorite part about this book, I mean, the story's great, but there's these barcodes, and so you can just scan this as you read it.
Oh, really?
And so this one's death
Gives
roll.
you images like AI.
Well, this one is right.
Kidding, I'm joking.
This one is actually our biggest song at the moment, called Death Roll, and so it'll take you to our Death Roll music video. And
What?
So,
Yeah.
So as you're reading this entire book and you hear these crazy stories, most of them.
Man, that is smart. So
Right?
where'd you get this idea from? Who else does this?
Just me.
She woke up with a dream.
Dude,
and said,
this
It wasn't a dream. It just was my brain.
that is
Yeah, you scan right there.
Yeah.
There it is.
We had the Panama City Dance Academy in this video with us. They're awesome.
Is that the
Death Roll.
Yeah, it
so
is.
it takes you
Cool.
straight to Death
Look
Roll.
at that.
Yeah, so you can fact check me.
And this book is full of them.
That's awesome. So you guys literally have the QR code in the book. That's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
No, it's like a complete experience of
What's the
What
book?
it's like.
What is this book about?
this one is actually I would consider it a Southern Gothic novel, but it's a memoir. It's about my life. It's about my life as a Floridian, and I talk a lot about what it was like to grow up in Florida before the condos, before the
Oh man.
yeah. I mean, like what it was like actually being a Florida kid running around in these woods and stuff. And so I talk about that a lot, and then I talk about Hurricane Michael a little bit. I've gone into depth with other books, but I talk about what it was like after the hurricane and how it changed, but it follows our lives as small town rock stars, or rising rock stars in this case. So how we got on national radio and what led us to do these music videos and what the music scene is like here. And but there is a narrative arc of, what I can't even explain it because it gives too much away, but I think people will really like it.
Yeah. I'll have to look into it myself. Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about that part of this area. We were just talking about it. I don't remember who we had on. We had somebody on, and I was talking about, like, dude, I remember as a kid growing up when, like, you could literally drive down the strip and you could see the water.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Those moments are disappearing fast.
Imagine that.
And it's like, people are like, oh, things change. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not that old.
Yeah. I'm 34.
Yeah, it's like, bro, this happened in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
And when they say that boom, it was a boom. And then, man, the sand, you remember the sand would bark? Squeak, squeak, squeak. It did not.
The squeaky,
Doesn't do that anymore, man.
I can't
They try to
believe you
blame it
just
on
said that
Opal.
because I tell people that and they think I'm insane. And
don't
I'm
know why I
like,
stopped doing
that.
the sand used to squeak.
It would be so, it was so fine.
It was so blinding that you could barely see.
Powdered sugar.
Yes, and it's completely changed because they pump it from those sandbars. Completely different sand now.
Well, they've had to do it. I know, if I remember correctly, and I could have this wrong, but a lot of it is, what I've heard is sometimes it's blamed on Hurricane Opal.
That was a major one,
So,
definitely. But it squeaked after that. I'm just
Sitting
saying.
there like, I swear, that beach squeaks. It used to, but now it doesn't anymore.
It still talks.
What was Hurricane Opal? That was 95 or 93, something like that. When was Hurricane Opal? You
90,
I thought it was
94,
94.
94, 95. something like that.
Somewhere in that area. Yeah, I remember Hurricane Opal because we had just those. Do you know those yellow condos right before the beach on the left with the pointy yellow triangle thing?
Yeah.
So we actually, my family lived there and we had just sold the condo or we stopped renting it. And after Hurricane Opal, they were completely destroyed. And there's video of me walking over those condos and I was looking at where I used to live and it was completely gone. And I was 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, people don't really understand that hurricanes are a big part of what makes a Floridian, I think.
I know. People move down here and they're just kind of like, I don't understand what people are. I mean, these storms aren't that bad. And I'm like, whoa. Slow your roll.
Yeah, it hasn't been 10 years since the last big one.
You haven't been here. It's almost kind of like that whole thing of like, you're like you haven't earned your
You're not a local yet.
Talk to me after.
You got to at least sit through a category 3 like before you can sit there.
Our first show ever as Jack and Jen was actually Hurricane Michael Relief
Oh, was it really?
Mexico Beach.
Okay, you guys perform over there too.
Yeah.
We
love the Forgotten
So
Coast.
where do you guys do you guys travel like just up the Pensacola over
Tomorrow
all the way
night
down?
we're actually going to be in Tallahassee. So
Nice.
yeah, so we do our favorite stretch is the Forgotten Coast. So everything from Appalach to East Point to Carabel, and then eventually the Forgotten Coast takes you to Tallahassee. Kind of like that's the star. That's where we're trying to go, but everything on the way. That's actually, we had a gig at a place called Harry's in Carabel early Jack and Jen. And Carabel is pretty far out. So we decided we're going to stop at every single venue that does music on the way home. And we did. And we stopped at every single one. And
It
we
wasn't
booked out.
it was him. He wanted to stop at every venue.
She
It was
with
his
me.
idea.
We stopped at every single spot. And that's how we booked the Forgotten Coast
Yeah.
in the beginning. That's where we just started.
Yeah.
Eli's very good at shaking hands and talking to people in person. I'm more of the social media gal. So
Yeah, I'm getting better at both.
There you go.
Let's talk about the story though.
Okay.
So start from the beginning. What happened? Like with everything.
So we were asked to come and be the main event, not the main event, the main. Sorry, maybe we should have been the main
Let's start at
event.
the beginning. Let's start at the beginning.
Not the main event. The only musicians for Pirates Voyage in Panama City Beach. You want me to start from the beginning?
Yeah, man, you're gonna have to because people don't know.
People don't know.
Let's start. I think we start with we did a song called Pay County Pirate, and we all got in our pirate garb. Is that the right?
No, we were real pirates because we had Pirates of the White Sands and the Sea Dragon.
I went to the Sea Dragon, and I was gigging at a spot right there at the Legends Edge is what it's called, right there on the bay, right, or beach, but bay, you know. And I was there every Monday, and every single Monday I was bugging Sea Dragon. I was like, let me do a music video. Let me do a music video, please. And they're like, fine, but season's starting.
Is that thing still around?
It is. It's
that thing
so
was
awesome.
around when we were kids.
I know, since the 80s.
And they told me,
Jeez.
you can do a music video, but we're about to be in season, so you have to do it on Monday.
So I posted and I was like, hey guys, we have the Sea Dragon. It can only be done on this day to do this Pay County Pirate music video. Would anyone love to come dress up and be pirates and be in this music video with us?
I get to the gig at Legends Edge, and at that moment, it's been 5 minutes. Pirates of the White Sands calls. And they're like, we have 50 men. We're coming. And
it wasn't 50. It was more like 25.
I was like, yes, sir. All right. Well, it's happening Monday. We got a crew now. We're ready to go.
So we do this really big music video. We get on the Steve and Johnny show, which is WGN, which is national radio. They interviewed Les Paul, so it was a very big deal. So we get on this national radio and we promote Pay County Pirate. It becomes this pretty big deal. It's our best music video, I personally think. And we knew that Pirate's Voyage was opening up, and Eli really wanted to shoot our shot there. So I'm a cynic because I'm from here. So I know that when these big corporations come in, when they say they want to hire locals, that typically means they want to hire servers. They want to hire the people behind the scenes. They don't necessarily hire the people on the stage that are locals. Typical. So I told him before he went in, he got dressed up as a pirate and everything.
I went full pirate to the interview, and I'm the only man dressed as a pirate in this entire, I'm looking around, it's like in a parking lot there because, you know, the place wasn't ready. And I'm the only one dressed as a pirate. I'm looking around and I'm like, no one's even like,
I warned
talking,
him,
you know?
and I said, usually at these hiring events, what happens is that they're really just looking for servers, they're looking for gift shop workers, they're looking for those sorts of positions. But when it comes to the musicians or the actors or anything, they're bringing those people in from elsewhere. It doesn't come from Bay County. I said, I'm just warning you. I don't want to discourage you. Go shoot your shot. But he gets there and he figures out it's exactly what I said, which I was really bummed about. So I got kind of pissed because I'm kind of tired of this being the narrative all the time. So I was like, you know, all right, I'm going to find the actual email that does the hiring. So I go down a Google rabbit hole, find the actual email of the person that does the hiring. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to send an email, and then you're going to send an email, and we're going to pitch Pay County Pirate as your next pirate. We're qualified musicians. We've been doing this for years and years and years. We're going to shoot our shot. Now, you would think that, oh, they found them because he went to the hiring event. But no, because he used a different email for the hiring event. We used another email for the email that we sent to the actual people that did the hiring. And that's the one they reached out on, was that email. So Pay County Pirate led to us getting this musician pre-show job at the Pirate's Voyage. And we went through a couple phone call interviews, and then we met them at, is it called the Radisson, right across?
Right in front of.
Yeah, whatever that hotel is, right in front of it.
New one.
We met with the CEO of entertainment for World Choice Investments. We met with the associate to that CEO of World Choice Investments, and then we met with DDM Entertainment, and we call him the writer. And we sat down and shook their hands, and we got the job, and we were the only locals hired as entertainment.
In this conversation, they wanted us to write a 40-minute pirate show where we were the pre-show. The deal was we were going to write the songs and perform every single day with no break.
That's 90 days of performance, twice a day.
We were each other's insurance. If she got sick, I was solo, vice versa. And so we set off to write a 40-minute pirate show. And we did, actually. We wrote the entire pirate show.
But then when we arrived at our first day, we realized that basically every single word that they told us was completely untrue after we had already signed the contract. So this contract was a 90-day contract. We were supposed to work until August 25th every single day. And they said they could terminate the contract for any reason with us. And we also had to not we had to contact every single gig that we had and say we're not able to do these gigs because they had a no doubling clause. So we had to be exclusively available to Pirates Voyage.
We had to cancel every gig that we had booked, and we were actually on. With Pay County Pirate released a new album, and we were on a tour.
But
Successfully booked out for the summer, and we had to cancel every single gig.
According to our contract, and if we broke the contract, I had to pay them $2,000 and he had to pay them $2,000. So once we signed this contract and we wrote several songs for the event, all this stuff, every single day that we were at Pirates Voyage, they took something away that they had told us that they were going to do. Starting on day one, we had a song called Oh Jolly that we wrote, and we had the actual CEO of all of WCI, which is a multi-million-dollar corporation, by the way, come in and record us doing this song that we had written for the show. And then they just kind of walked away. That was the first day. And then the second day when we came in, we were told before we left the first day that we needed to bring our computers because we needed to write a script to go along with the songs. The second day when we came in, we were given a script that we did not write, and
we were told to read each word exactly how it was or we would be fired. And this script was, I
had to, in my character, Pirate 1, I had to make fun of his teeth, his hair, his reading comprehension, his dance moves, the reading comprehension of the audience, and his overall general intelligence. And we were asked to read this script in our real voices.
And I just want to say,
not pirate voices.
During the show, they give away children's books.
Literal free books to
help
children.
Children read. And in this script, they were forcing us to read every single word. It basically was like, I don't know how to read, and neither does
the audience.
The audience.
The audience comprised of mainly
and we're like,
Southern families and children.
We're from the South, I don't think they're gonna go for this. I don't think they're gonna like the humor.
I think they're gonna be pissed, actually.
And speaking of hurricanes, Hurricane Michael did take children out of school for a while. So they're
actually, it's a studied thing right now that it affected the kids' reading in Bay County, Florida.
But basically, these bigwigs come down and force us to read a script that just lashes out on all of our people. And we were forced to be the local representation of this moment.
Yep. So, being who we are,
Jack and Jen, the rock and roll band,
we challenged them respectfully. But the associate with WCI was the one that we...
How did you challenge it?
So this was day 3.
He wanted us to meet him in his hotel room. His dirty hotel room. No, I don't understand the face. What's wrong with going to somebody's dirty hotel room? So we're sitting in there on his couch.
You buy a dinner and a drink first?
No,
he did not buy us dinner.
Weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. So we
just come straight to the room, man. All right.
So we're alone in his...
You went?
We were forced to. We have to.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it was... Oh, we could go a little bit further about what happened in that hotel room if you want to.
You don't have to. I'm just kidding.
If you want to.
Yeah, what all...
It sounded something like this. Tell me that you love me.
Wait, what?
Look at me. Tell me that you love me.
Are you asking me to do that?
I want you to say that you love me, but then say it like you respect me.
Wait, so he said that?
This is what he said.
Exact words.
This is the associate to the
in his hotel room.
CEO of entertainment for World Choice Investments.
What's his name? Okay, that's fine. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is
the associate.
Yeah. Okay.
So essentially, I challenged him on the script. I said, "Sir, respectfully, we have read the script. We've taken it home. We've given this a great deal of thought. There's a few issues that we have with it. First of all, I personally don't think that it's okay that you brought in the only local representation to Pirates Voyage for entertainment, forward-facing to the crowd of a beloved local band that's made it on national radio, and people know what we stand for. And you are making them read a demeaning script where I make fun of his teeth, his hair, his dancing, his comprehension, reading comprehension, and what we're mostly concerned about, the reading comprehension of a mainly Southern audience, of an audience that went through Hurricane Michael that literally affected children's ability to read. I think that is going to come across very poorly, especially since your founder literally has, founder being Dolly Parton, has a foundation that gives books to children for free called the Imagination Library. I think that's going to go across really poorly. And then he sat across from me and he said, no, it's all about how you say it. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, Sandy, here, let's do this.
Ooh, role play.
I said, okay.
In the hotel room.
He looked at me and he said, I want you to tell me that you respect me. I comply.
Wait, so you were there?
I am here sitting on the same couch, literally biting my tongue off. Like
you guys are engaged.
We're
right?
engaged.
We're engaged.
Man, dude, I think go ahead. It wouldn't have gone over that way for me. Probably.
It was soul crushing. The whole experience was this. We have more, but let's finish this.
He said, tell me that you respect me. So I did, because I canceled all of my gigs for 3 months, and I have 2 children that literally rely on my ability to provide for them. So I said, I respect you. And then he said, okay, now I want you to do this. I want you to tell me that you love me, but say it like you respect me, in his hotel room.
How about you say that?
Yeah. So I complied.
Wow.
And just to throw back in there, we did
What
have
a
to
douche
cancel.
canoe.
we did have to cancel all of our gigs, and we worked together. So our entire household income relied on this. Canceled all of our gigs. This is how we make our money. This is how we make our living. And
he knew that.
And he knew that.
Yeah. So, okay. So, have you guys ever been to a Dixie Stampede?
Yes, multiple times.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. So, like, they have humor like that what you're talking about, but I've never seen it to where it was that in depth.
Right.
It's always been like something stupid, like, the Dixie Stampede that's up in at Pigeon Forge. Yeah, like you go there and like they'll make jokes about the one dude who was kind of like illiterate redneck hillbilly dude, that was part of the show, and then he would make funny comments and be like, wait, what the heck are you talking about? That's not what that says, And he goes, well, hell, I never made it past 3rd grade or something like that. So it's always like they make those jokes, but there's a difference. I think I see what you're saying. It seemed like there was a little bit of a difference when you're like being made to say these things, and you think that on the area, I don't think that there should have been. This is just weird. Yeah. Like that whole situation. Come and meet me in my hotel room. Come over to my room.
It's very odd.
And this is still pretty early. We haven't actually done our first show yet. By this, we're still in training.
So you guys actually did a show?
Yes.
And we did several shows. Yeah, we actually did make it to the stage.
So you guys performed this script?
He took out the part of making fun of the audience for not knowing how to read. But
I think that is the only thing he took out. Yeah, that's the only part that he actually took out.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't read the script exactly how it is, you're fired.
So you guys performed the script between the 2 of you guys in the show? Can you do it real quick just to see what it sounded like?
I don't know how to read.
No, we're
Is
not.
that really what it was?
No. We're not allowed because it's their intellectual property, or I would be glad to.
Yeah, I was kind of curious on, let's see how it sounds.
Yeah.
But
So unfortunately, on that account, you'll have to take our word for it because that's their intellectual property.
And so at this point, we had written the music, and they forced us to write.
Has the show been put up on YouTube yet? Like your little...
No. They're trying to pretend like we didn't even
We weren't
exist.
allowed to post anything. All we could do was share if somebody else posted.
So there was a couple...
We weren't allowed to record anything.
So there's a couple videos that are available that our friends posted of us that I put in that document that I sent you, but it's on our Facebook page if you want to go check it out.
And they're all the songs that was recorded was the songs.
But what was interesting was when we finally did get to the point where we started performing, it didn't really matter anyway because they never had my mic on for the performance.
My mic was on.
His mic was on. Mine was never on.
They turned her off. So we're doing this stupid script, and no one even knows what we're saying, which is probably a good thing, now that I think about it. But Yeah, we had in-ears, which you can hear everything perfectly in in-ears, right?
Yeah.
And
But then nothing was coming.
yeah,
from
I
the
guess I was
speakers.
singing and one fell out. And I was like, I don't hear Sandy at all.
So like the monitor was
So I
off.
walked to the
Not
monitors,
the monitor.
the main speakers.
The main speaker.
She was off. And this went on. We talked to the sound guy. We were supposed to have a sound guy.
There was one day where it actually worked, and we did perform to thousands of people, and it went pretty well. There was a couple points in the script where I thought the audience member kind of looked at us kind of funny, but then after that, my mic never worked again.
So there was one successful day, and by successful, we had to read the script, and it was tough. The songs were great. Like I said, we wrote the songs, and they pitched in the script, which, we didn't.
So about how many people do you think that they're hiring that are actually locals, like for their performances?
1, 2.
Oh, for the performances, there
Yeah.
is one understudy who is, I won't say his name, but he is the theater director at Gulf Coast State College, and he performs in the main show. We were the pre-show event. So we came on 30 minutes or an hour before the show.
Hour.
It was directly an hour before the show. So what was actually interesting is we went on that hour before the show, but then they started saying that we needed to go on 10 minutes before that hour. They advertised it as an hour before the shows. When you come for the pre-show, the doors weren't even open yet. And they told us to start going on 10 minutes before the hour that the pre-show started. This happened relatively early on. It was very strange. So it wasn't a good experience at all. I don't feel like we were ever given an opportunity to actually do well. And that's really confusing to me, because why would you hire us at all if you didn't want us to do well? It just seems like we were doing fine. We had a tour set up.
We were on tour, yeah.
We have been on national radio. My songs have been played all over the country. I am very successful. I'm from the area, literally educated here in every sense of the word. My musical education, along to my school education.
So you felt like it was more of a slap in the face to you being
It felt like a sabotage, yes.
I don't know how it could have been anything else.
And so not only did they offer us thousands of dollars to never tell this story.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that. How did that happen?
So, okay. We were called on the way to a show by the associate, as we referred to him, and he said that they cut our original songs from the first set that we did downstairs.
So now our songs are cut.
So we said, okay, and he said, you're just going to do the show upstairs, which was just pirate shanties, and you're going to also perform it downstairs. And we were very confused because we were told that if we didn't perform the script exactly as written, that meant that we didn't have a job and that we were fired. And so I asked him this question. I said, well, the script upstairs is completely different than the script downstairs. So how can we perform that downstairs with less than 2 hours to showtime? I'm very confused about this decision. He said, whatever, you're going to cut the first set and that's it.
And this is the drive to work.
We're literally
going
driving
to do a show. The show is live. We're 20 minutes away. So we pull in there. And
Sold out show, by the way.
A sold out show, which opened 3 days early. The whole time, it's crazy.
But we digress.
So I walk in and I decide I want to talk directly to the CEO about this. And so I said, hey, CEO, can we talk? And he said, yes, we can talk. And I said, okay. So 20 minutes ago, the associate just called and cut our original set. And I am very upset about this. I would just like to talk with you. And he said, that's just show business. And I said, you hired us to write an original show and you cut it over a phone call. And now you're just saying that's just show business. And then he comes at me with, you're attacking me. And I was like, I'm not attacking you. You said we could talk. I asked. You said yes. I'm asking you about my career. You hired me to do something and then you just took it back. Okay?
after asking us to cancel 3 months of shows.
Cancel our summer, which, living here, the summer is when you make your money. This is a tourist town. You gig all summer. Last summer, I gigged 100 days in a row, multiple times a day. I mean, that's how we make our money. Off season, there's no gigs. So there's not a lot. Anyway.
So I chimed in and I said, sir, respectfully, you asked me to cancel 3 months of shows, 3 months of original shows, because you wanted us to come in and write an original show because you wanted local flavor. We did that. We even performed your script as written, even though I disagreed with the content. And now you're telling me that you've cut our originals. This is starting to feel like I was lied to and manipulated. And he said, that's show business, you're attacking me. And I said, sir, here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to perform a damn good show. I will do what you told me to do, but I want you to know that I am not happy about this. And I left.
She went to the changing room. And I would just like to say right here, we love Dolly Parton. We love Dolly Parton. We hope that Dolly Parton hears this, because what I'm about to tell you next takes it to the next level. So Sandy goes to the changing room, which, because we're the pre-show, we're not allowed to mingle with the actors in the main show. We are sent to change with the waitresses and the waiters.
Which is not a problem, because we knew nearly every single waiter and waitress.
They've seen us
because we literally worked with them in the bar scene. All of them knew us by name already. It was not embarrassing to change with the waiters or waitresses.
They're great people.
Even though we were performers and there was a performer changing room that we were not allowed to go and change in.
So at this point, Sandy is in the changing room with the waiters and waitresses. I walk in, the writer is right behind me. And everybody's
This is the guy
changing.
that we're, by the way, this is the guy that we're actually employed by. So there's two different companies.
This is our boss.
That are involved in Pirates Voyage. We dealt mostly with World Choice Investments, which was the CEO and the associate. They are the ones that gave us all of our direction, gave us the scripts, told us what songs were approved, told us what songs weren't approved, told us what was and wasn't about the show. These are the people we worked with. But the guy we were actually hired by was a third-party entertainment company called DDM Entertainment. We barely ever talked to this man until this moment.
Okay, so Sandy's already in the changing room. Our originals have just been dropped. The reason we were hired just disappeared. But we're still a part of the show. We're
contracted, and I would have to pay $2,000. He would have to pay $2,000 to cancel this contract, and I'm a working class musician.
So I walk into this changing room, which is basically an open room just away from the public. It's just like one big room. And then the writer comes in right behind me. And I looked back at him because this was a pretty emotional conversation. And I said, hey, man, are we cool? Are we cool? And he said, yeah, you can go change in my office. You two can go change in my office. And I'm like, all right, that's a private place to change. That's cool because we got to take off all of our clothes, So we go into this man's office, take off our clothes, getting ready to get fully dressed out, the Pirates Voyage in Panama City Beach. And the writer opens the door and walks in while we are mid-change.
I'm standing there in my underwear.
At this moment, I cover her up with my body. I just hug her and hold her, and I tell her, don't you dare let them see us sad. What they've done to us is terrible. And not only when you write a song, do you put your heart and soul into it, and then when they strip it away, you feel naked. But now
so you guys
we're
wrote
actually
these songs.
Yes.
The first set, yes, we wrote the songs. Yes, we did.
And we felt stripped from our songs. We felt stripped and naked. And then physically in this moment, when he said, you can go change in my office, and we were physically naked changing, he walks in.
To me, when you walk in on someone changing, you open the door and you go, oh, I'm so sorry. You shut the door and walk away.
That is not what happened.
That's not what happened. This man opened the door, saw that we were changing, that I was standing there in my underwear, and went into the office to grab what he wanted, took his sweet little time, and then walked out and shut the door behind him.
Do you feel like any of this was to make you guys feel uncomfortable so you'd quit?
Yeah. I
But
think
if we were to quit, we would owe them thousands of dollars. So our situation is
So if you quit, you would owe them
by
$2,000
contract
a piece.
each,
$2,000 a piece. Yes.
Well, how long was that contract?
till August 25th,
It was a 3-month contract.
which technically we'd still be in it right now.
Still working every single day.
So they offered you money.
They did. At the very end of this, so what happened was we ended up getting terminated over a phone call. He said, "You don't have to come in anymore." And I said, "Sir, I would like to have this in writing. Could you please email that to me?" And he said, "Ma'am, you'll get it whenever my lawyer gets it to you." And I said, "Can I at least have a reason for why you are terminating the contract?" And he said, "I don't have to really give you a reason, but I don't know, creative differences, something like that." And then he said, "Eli, if you want to come in and talk, you can."
So the emotions of this moment, not to mention the day before we had just gotten engaged. So emotionally, at this moment, we are placed in uncomfortable, impossible situation.
So I wrote immediately, I was like, okay, so what they just did was fire us over a phone call. That means there's no paper trail. And I'm not an idiot because I've worked in corporate, and you didn't hire a dumb musician from Bay County. You hired a musician who has written 3 books, has written 3 albums, has taught children music for over 15 years, has worked in social media marketing for over 15 years for major corporations. I am not a fool, and you messed with the wrong one. So I wrote a letter to 3 different HR companies detailing what had happened, because I had kept a diary of every single moment that had happened during our time at Pirates Voyage. And I wrote it meticulously. I wrote it without emotion. And I told HR exactly what happened. They got back to me and said that there would be an investigation. And then I waited the 10 full business days and received no response, because I'm sure they just thought, oh, they'll just go away. No, I am not going away. So I messaged them again with a second letter, all 3 companies, and I said something to the effect of, "I'm sure you think this goes away quietly. I assure you it does not, and I am quite the effective storyteller. So I really suggest that you do what you said you were going to do." They said, "We're forwarding this to our legal team." We waited over a week, and that's when the legal team reached out for DDM, because World Choice Investments was not who we were actually hired by. It was a third-party entertainment company, even though we worked mostly with World Choice Investments. So DDM Entertainment had to go hire a lawyer, where they finally, on a Thursday at 4:00, sent an email saying something to the effect, and I've sent you the letter that they said, "Actually, yes, it was regrettable what happened to you, although we don't admit fault. And Florida is an at-will state. Florida is an at-will state for employees. We were a contractor that you exclusively hired for 3 months and demanded that we canceled all of our gigs. There's a difference." So they said, Florida's an at-will at-will employer, and so we don't have to give you a reason, but the reason was your performance was disruptive. In fact, it impeded other performers' ability to perform, which is quite funny, because during the entire time that we were working for Pirates Voyage, they demanded that we were kept separate from the rest of the cast.
We were with the waiters and waitresses. We were never with the cast.
The entire time, we were not allowed to be with the other performers other than in passing. We practiced separately. We performed separately. We changed separately. We arrived at different times. So how exactly could we be disruptive? So that's what happened.
Yeah. Did get to meet Dolly Parton.
Oh, and we didn't take the money.
We did not take the money.
How much did they offer you?
$3,000.
I never tell the story.
I would have bumped it. I'd been like, how about this? You guys pay me for everything that I would have made
We
the
did.
amount of time.
We already tried.
We did that first.
They were like, get
we
it
did
up.
that first.
They just didn't care.
And then they
Little
sent
over
us
$30,000 is what we were supposed to make over 3 months, which would have been the majority of our income for 2025.
But they also loved, if anyone's ever worked with corporate, they love to say, this is due tomorrow.
Yeah. So
Or this deal is off the
they
table.
sent the
You have
letter.
one day.
Thursday, we had 1 day, and it was a hell no. It was a hell no because it was also coupled with a non-disclosure agreement that stated, and a hold harmless. We weren't going to be allowed to sue them for any other sort of damages, which I, at this point, have no intention of suing them for anything. I think the story is more important.
So they treated you basically like a brand new like teenage band off the street. They thought they could just kind of get you for a low cost, and then
I mean, sure, but I don't think a teenage band off the street should be invited into a hotel room where they're said, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what they did was thought we were stupid. They thought we were stupid.
Yeah.
Like someone with no life experience at all. So I get what you're saying, but I don't think a teenager, I don't care how stupid they are, should be treated the way that we were treated.
Yeah. Yeah, no. That was my point. It's kind of like you treated these like you guys weren't going to go out and you're not going to say anything to anybody or talk to anybody about
Yeah,
what's
well, I
gonna
think they
happen.
treat most.
How do they treat their other performers?
We had no idea. We were
So
kept
you never
separate
like
from them.
talked
We
to any
never-
of the other performers?
Very
Talked to the
briefly.
main guy a little bit, hey, what's up? How's the show going? Good. But no, we weren't allowed. We would get yelled at if we were in the main stage area. If we were out of our little realm.
Which was just us two.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. So most of the Bay County people that were hired are the waiters and waitresses. They cried every single day.
Every day.
I remember actually talking with the manager of the actual building, and one of the waitresses walks up and says, "Guess what? Today's the first day I didn't cry." And he said, "Guess what? Me too." And then I leaned my head in. I said, "Me three."
Yeah.
They treat us all like dirt.
So there's nearly 100 servers in this building. All they got was a small locker room with 2 changing stations. And they had to, so this isn't a job where you can just come in dressed out. You have to dress
You have like a costume?
on site, yes. And there was
Everybody.
only 2 dressing rooms for a stadium of 1,100 people. 2 dressing rooms for all of these waiters and waitresses. These aren't performers. These are waiters and waitresses. They're not used to dressing out in front of a bunch of people. They're not used to having to do costume changes or anything like that. They were giving a tiny little locker room, which, by the way, was not very ventilated. There was no chairs. The dressing rooms didn't even have mirrors. There was 1 bathroom that most of the time was out of order.
So how many people are visiting that place like in one night?
1,100 people per show.
1,100 people per show?
There's
Per
usually
show.
2 shows a day, and sometimes 3 to 4.
Nice.
And when it first opened, it was selling out.
It's
So
the largest
over
stage
1,000
in Bay
people a
County
day,
at
yeah.
the time, right now.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I might need to go check it out now. just
Talk to
say,
the associate. He's got a
Oh,
hotel room.
He's,
hey man.
he's left on a jet plane. He's far away from here
Yeah,
now.
he ran.
Yeah. So this is insane, but isn't this the first big time performing thing has been here? I mean, we used to have like the Ocean Opry.
Yeah,
that
no,
was
this
ran
is
by the-
that's exactly
this
right.
This is the first.
Yeah,
thing.
probably since Michael, because I feel like La Vila had some pretty big acts come through.
Well,
No,
this is a
this is like
stage.
permanent though.
Yeah, you're right,
A
you're
permanent
right.
This is
stage.
like
Not
I
a-
think this is like our because like, you go to Orlando, I mean you got medieval times,
Right,
you got
yeah.
Dixie Stampede, you got like these other dinner show things.
No, I guess it is. Other than festivals that are yearly, but that's once a
like
weekend.
this is like our first thing that's come here. I don't think that it's abnormal what you're talking about, and the reason why is because even if you look at some of those places, I think like the same thing. I don't know if you guys have like looked into like Reddit things and stuff like that, but you can go into that because one of the things that we were talking about when you first called me, I was like, yeah, I wonder, and it's like normally the locals are the ones that always get fucked by the big, corporations that come in and take over.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's the regular performers, they have swimmers and divers or some crap.
Yeah, it's acrobats, but I was confused because when the associate was talking to us, and I was just curious, and I was like, so why do you have to bring in these people from other places? I'm just confused. And he was like, oh, there isn't, there's not that kind of talent in Bay County here. But I was curious. So I asked some of the girls one time because, this was media day. So when Dolly Parton came down, we weren't allowed to actually go to our changing room with the servers and everybody. So I did go one time and go change with the rest of the performers. And while I was in there, I asked the girls a couple questions. And I just said, hey, so I'm just curious, what training did you have before you got this job? And she said, gymnastics.
Nothing really.
Just some gymnastics. And I was interested. I was like, oh, okay. Well, we have like 2 major gymnastics companies here. I would imagine that, you can train a Bay County gymnast just like you could train one from elsewhere.
They're probably looking for that professional grade thing. I know one of my buddies, I used to play in a band with him. He's a bass player. And so he ended up at Disney. And so he was, I hadn't talked to him in a while. I ran into him. Him and I were chit-chatting. He was visiting some family. And he was explaining to me, like, his schedule. But it was a similar story to what you're saying. Not in detail with the other things. But where he was having an issue because he was playing for a band that was... like in, what do they call it? Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom, right? So he played with a band there at like 12 o'clock, right? At noon. And then he would play there for like 2 hours, right? And then he'd go to like another place in Magic Kingdom. And then it was like he had 45 minutes to be in United Kingdom in Epcot within like 45 minutes. Right. He had to get from there to there. Yep. And, I've pretty much eaten just a Hot Pocket that has been sitting in my backpack the entire time just to make it across over there. Everything, they get discounts on food and stuff like that. But he's like, you don't have time to stop by a stand or anything like that on the way. You just don't have that kind of time. And you get to, he got yelled at basically by, hey, man, you were late, all this type of stuff. He's like, well, I'm moving from here to there. But the guy that was over him, like that management staff for him, said something kind of similar where it was like, do you understand that a bass player is a dime a dozen? Like, I can find anybody that I want whenever I want. And then it was like, it's a pleasure you're acting like this is some type of like, oh, you guys are on top of me. He's like, you work for Disney. And he just like straight up told him, he says, it's a pleasure to work here. Like, it's not like you're looking at it as this burden of, well, I'm not really getting paid that much. But you work for this monstrosity of a company and you should be happy that we would even consider you. So it's like this mental abusive thing.
It's basically, it's funny you say Disney because it's basically a Bug's Life and we're all little ants. Yeah. And they're the grasshoppers.
Yeah, it is. Their whole thing is, it is their business. But the thing is, you have the right not to work there. But the thing about similar to you, he's just like, dude, man, you got me for this short period of time. Like the bands that I played with, they've already moved on. They've got other players now, and everything. Like I kind of dedicated my life to this, and for the past 6 months, it was cool. But dude, this is starting to wear down on me. I can't be in 6 places at one time, and then he's like, by the time I get done, 10 o'clock at night. He's like, dude, I'm so shot. He's like, just from walking.
Yeah, sprinting everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be late.
Like, So he had a really, but it's similar to the one you're talking about, where it's like this company comes in, they know that they can take advantage of the local talent, and be like, oh, it's like when you start saying I wrote songs for this. That's a lot of work to put in.
I read 3 pirate books. I studied, like I dedicated, like I dove in. I actually went to go see one of my old friends, and he's like, "You know how I know you're into like this pirate thing? Because you obsess over stuff. When it's time, like you are like reading all these books and like you're going into pirate mode." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess he's known me forever." I'm like, "I guess I do kind of super get into character." And no, we put a lot of work into that.
And you're right. It is their business. That is their corporation, and those are the working conditions that you can expect Bay County if you work for them. And I refused thousands of dollars, an NDA, and have suffered for 2 months. And there's 20 cents in my bank account right now so that you could know that.
What kind of food do they have there?
Popcorn. Popcorn.
I'm like, let's go to something a little bit lighter. Like, how's the food?
Right? Yeah. No, it's been a dark summer, man. You know, we were promised everything. You know, all these. You know, your life's about to be paved in gold. Every road you walk on.
So did they like? So they kind of like? Did they painted a picture and they treated you a certain way at the beginning, and then they just kind of like flipped.
Every
It's
day,
just like any narcissist does.
every day they take a little bit more of your food off your plate
Feels
until
like a
you're
frog
looking at one
where
little piece
you're
of
in
rice.
the water and it's nice and you don't know that you're being boiled alive until you're boiled alive.
Hey, this is hot. This is really hot. Oh my gosh, they're trying to kill us.
Yeah. Dang, man. That sucks, dude.
So, you know,
So what are you guys doing now to move forward and kind of?
as of this point, we have booked gigs outside of Bay County. We're
We
not
booked
really
a couple. So we've had this experience where we've booked a few shows here in Bay County with advance because we weren't able to recoup those gigs. And the booking agent's like, oh yeah, we're all set to go. And then the owner comes back and says, oh, sorry, y'all can't play here.
because
So
we never
that's
got to share our side of the story
Yeah,
until
they're-
today with you.
So people are running around with a certain side of the story that is literally keeping us from being able to book more shows in my hometown that I have served in my entire life. And now, essentially, because I took a really big chance with a Dolly Parton company, I'm unable to work anywhere in my city.
So there's people that are reaching out to the old places you used to play or the places you guys could book and telling them a side of the story.
Oh,
That's
we were
incorrect,
told
or-
day 2 at Pirates Voyage by the associate. I can't believe we forgot this part. The associate took us aside and said, hey, so what's been the local response to you guys getting this gig?
Before we ever performed,
By the
at
way,
the Pirates
before we
Voyage,
ever did a
we had
performance.
negative reviews of people in Bay County reaching out, calling, making online complaints about our performance when
Online
they're not even
complaints,
involved.
phone calls, text messages saying, I can't believe you booked Jack and Jen.
Yeah, they came for us
You
hard.
guys have like a bad reputation or something?
At this point,
I don't know what my reputation is at this point.
Well, my famous line now was given to me by one of my uncles, and I love it. It's, your opinion of me is none of my business.
right?
But it becomes my business when you're out costing me money.
Yeah, when you are actively
And I know-
calling to try and sabotage something I've worked my entire life for.
And I know that for a fact there are a lot of people that go to certain bars and certain venues in this town and they sit around and talk negative on me. One of these people became a drug addict and got sober and told me, he said, Eli and Sandy, I want to apologize because we used to just get high and literally talk shit about you guys.
To the venue owners.
More than anything, it was always about you guys. And I feel bad now that I'm sober and I've realized how bad we probably hurt y'all. I'm sorry I did that. I don't know why I didn't stop it. We just joined in and we all joined in and just started talking shit on you.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, any type of performance-based anything, you're always going to have those haters, which is good because there are people that love me just because there are certain people that hate me, and they don't
right?
like those people. So, and
Mutual.
so that's always a good thing. But the other side about it is like, man, if somebody's got their own thing going on, well, you got, just leave them alone. Like, and then the aspect of just stay in your own business, like.
Yeah.
This had nothing to do with any of those other. This was a thing between you and Pirate Voyager. Had nothing to do with anybody else. Man, dude, we've been having to deal with people putting their noses where it don't belong. It's
Right.
like, dude, this is something that was done between me and somebody else, and then other people, and then they spread this whole gossip. They got half of a story.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's
They'll run
like
with
you're
it.
never gonna have the whole story because I'm never going to talk about the entire thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But it's similar to what you guys got going on. It's like, dude, just leave me and my future spouse alone and just let us do what we get paid to do, which is create music and and I'm sure you guys enjoy it. That's the other side about it, right?
I love writing music. I think it
Yeah.
saved my life, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it my
And
whole
I think that's
life.
one of the heartbreaking things, right? Like
Yeah.
you wrote music for something, you put blood, sweat, tears, and time into something, creating something, and you thought that you probably thought it was gonna be great at the very beginning, and then you're like, and when you start talking about they're taking stuff away, and then it's like, I'm not gonna treat you like the rest of the performance staff, and then it's like, so what do you guys? Because you took me away from how I provide for my family. And then you said that you were the one that is I'm being compensated to take care of my family now. And now it's, NDAs and,
All kind of legal
bullshit
stuff.
emails, and I'm going to belittle you over the phone and play the victim card. Whatever, dude.
It's been a wild ride.
So you're able to recoup some of that now, coming out of that, and you guys got shows, and like you said, you're
Tallahassee.
yeah, man, dude.
Yeah. It's
So, but you think that you guys will be able to bounce back in the area?
I'm hoping.
right?
I love Bay County. I'm really hoping we can come back. There's so many great venues. There's I'd love to be working here every day again. Like that's my dream. It always has been, is to play music here.
Yeah.
I have no faith that we'll bounce back in Bay County.
Really?
Personally. Absolutely not. No.
And it's like this, man. After the Pirate Voyage thing.
Well, what are the things that are being said that are so bad that you don't think you'd be able to bounce back from?
Okay.
We've been accosted in the street.
I'm gonna name
just, Hold on. Just walking around where people will say derogatory things and they treat us like we're literally like LA stars or something. They'll come up to me and they'll say a negative thing and they'll say, Sandy, such and such and such and such and such and such. What do you think about that?
Yeah, here comes the phone on your face.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like we were outside of Mosey's one night after we went to a Monday Night Little Fest, and a guy that I formerly knew came out and started barking in the middle of the street and calling me a bitch. And
Well, this
we
is a good
were
one.
driving away in a truck. This was just when Salty South came out.
I put my blinker
all
on.
because of this Dolly Parton stuff, or is this
This was-
other
This was
stuff?
a couple years ago.
This is
So
just-
this shit's been going
This is just
on.
the songwriting road, man.
Wow.
So we were,
All right.
they
Yeah,
walked
yeah.
out and started calling me a bitch, and we were driving away in
I
the
thought
truck.
politics was bad.
Dude, I put my blinker on. Like, we're driving off, and this dude's like, "You're a bitch." And I put my blinker on. And I was like, how funny is it just to put your blinker on, by the way? Like, I'm turning around.
Yeah,
So I
right.
turn around. They're over there like, you're a bitch, talking to Sandy. And I got really mad, naturally being a man.
Why don't
And-
you get out of the car, Eli?
And so I got out of the
Why?
car, knocked the beer out of the drunk's hand, and that's when the phone comes out. And the only part that's being recorded is me hitting a beer out of a drunken
And
loser.
you're in the street, and that's
And
public.
I'm in the
now
street
it's
from
okay
my
to-
truck. And
yeah.
now, dude, my
Oof.
reputation is Eli's lost his mind. He's out of control. He's fighting people in the streets. I walked into a bar 2 weeks ago. I bought a beer. And I woke up to, you're banished from my establishment. And I'm like,
Just because he walked
I
in.
walked in, I bought a beer. Isn't that the whole point of a bar? And
Yeah.
so those kind of things have followed me.
We've been recorded in bars before while we've
Yeah.
just been sitting there, and people have eavesdropped in on our conversations.
Isn't that weird?
It's vicious.
Probably why, because when I talk about it, I was like, guys, like I gotta. What level you're on? 'cause
right.
I just went through that in the same. Oh no,
Yeah.
they're friendly. Like let me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we would talk about this stuff to people, and we try to talk to people like a normal human being would do, and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry that happened. This guy has a problem with us. We never thought that he would do this. Da 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 da." And they just don't believe us because it sounds so insane.
it goes-
It sounds insane, and I'm
Well-
like, I realize it sounds insane, but this is literally
We went to
what
Hammerhead
happened.
Fred's trying to book a gig. I've played there before. Just trying to get another gig.
Hammerhead Fred's?
Hammerhead Fred's.
Right here, right down the road. And they told me, we have an artist that performs here. And he said, if I hire Jack and Jen, that he will quit and take his whole crew with him and they'll never play for us again.
Who the fuck does that dude think he is?
That's what I said. And I said, who? And he wouldn't tell me who. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see who else playing at Hammerhead Fred's.
I don't want to shit on local musicians because we've had a lot on, right?
Yeah.
Well, quite a few. We have Mind Plays, Nate Pennington, Alex Napier, now you guys. And like one of my things is like, nobody acts like they're like this big shot, like
Yeah.
great. Like most of the people we've had on, I mean, dude, Mind Plays, they seem pretty humble. I know
Everyone you just named
like-
writes songs.
yeah, and the thing about it is,
They're
is
the
like,
good ones.
these guys are like, I couldn't see any of them thinking that they were so high on themselves, where they would tell
really
a
the
venue,
cover bands.
where they would tell a venue, and I tell you what, if you hire this band, we're done. Like
You'll never have us again.
Or yeah. It's like who, like, you don't own this place, dude. You play the music here. Like you're a performer. Like who do you think you are? I'm sorry, dude. If anybody even. So that happened at Hammerhead Fred's and they didn't hire you because of that?
That's true.
Dude, fuck that place. I'm never going back there again.
Amen.
Who the hell are you? You're gonna start telling somebody I'm not gonna hire you based on what somebody else said. Can you imagine?
I can't imagine.
That's
I've
all
lived it.
I wish I
Yeah.
could not imagine it.
That's so stupid, bro. Like, because I mean, everybody's got a different reputation for whatever, and you also have to consider the source that they're getting information from.
Well, what I've noticed is, and I was very angry about this for a very long time, this has been going on for years. And what I have noticed is that bar owners typically just want it to be easy. So if there is a musician or a group and there's a bunch of musicians that have a problem with them, they don't ask what the problem is. They're just like, I don't want drama, so I'm not booking that. I'm not booking those guys. I want it to be easy. So they end up with...
And don't make drama. It's not like your band is playing there the same night that their band, the other band.
Well,
is
I'm like,
playing there.
the people who are giving you the drama are the groups of people that are ganging up on these other musicians, making sure they can't work and feed their families.
I don't even think it's those other bands that are the problem. It's the freaking management that you guys are having to deal with. They're the ones creating the fucking drama.
The one that
because
set
all you
that
have to do
rule.
is be like, oh
Okay.
yeah, I've heard your music here before. That's great. Come on in, play. And like, if you have another band that comes up and be like, man, I'm not going to be like, all right, sorry to see you go. Again, this is Panama City Beach, Florida. A band is a dime a dozen. Anybody can call one right now. I can call a band right now. And I guarantee I have them here within the next hour to perform here if I say I'll pay them. This is like, who the freak do you think you are, bro? Like this is not, we're not running. There's a couple things we're not running low on in Bay County.
Yeah.
Banks, gas stations, and musicians. They're not like, dude, they're everywhere. They're on every corner.
Who can play Dreams by Fleetwood Mac or Wagon Wheel? Anybody here?
Yeah, dude. Oh, I remember, dude, playing music. Because I used to play music here and there, you know. I was with a band, and then I did, like, the solo act for a little while. And, like, I could have never made it a career because I'm not a performer like that. You know what I mean? But it's, like, one of those, even when I was doing it, it's, like... it's not just getting up there and singing in your living room and playing some music, and then you have to play things that you don't even want. We talked about this with Mind Plays. Mind Plays came on, and like one of the things I always ask performers when they come on is like, what is the least favorite song that you like playing? Because there's always one that a performer's like, if I have to play that song one more time, Wagon Wheel is one of them.
Yeah, it is.
1,000%.
Wagon Wheel.
Wagon Wheel, or what's the other one? Da da da.
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet
Yes.
Caroline.
That one kills on the
That
beach.
one is hilarious because
it doesn't work in town.
it can be the song
annoying.
You
it
can
can be
do it in town, but if you do it on the beach, you got all of Pineapple
it
Willies
can be the
going,
song of the
da,
night
da,
or it can be the
da.
worst song you've ever played.
Yep.
And you can tell after the first chorus. Sweet Caroline.
Nobody?
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, moving on.
Song's over. Brad Paisley wrote that.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna go back to Freebird.
Yeah, here's another. I'm gonna do Freebird again. Did I already play that one? Let's just play that one again.
Well, that's cool. At least you guys are turning it back around.
Yeah.
I think you'll make a comeback.
I hope so, man.
People have a very short memory here. Extremely short memory.
I sure hope so. It's been a few years, Ron.
Because
Oh, really?
we
It's
love
been a few
playing
years,
music.
yeah.
Maybe you're just a horrible person.
Maybe.
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 No, I know that's not
I've
true.
got 3 books. You can read them and decide for yourself.
I know what's going
3
on.
albums.
I know what's going on at your house.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, is there anything else you guys like to share or anything else that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we want to do a Southern Gothic album. Hopefully coming out in October. You can help us.
Are you guys on Spotify?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Spotify, Apple Music,
All
of them.
streaming platforms.
all
Yeah.
streaming
And all of our
platforms.
music videos are on YouTube.
So you have music videos.
Yes. Yeah.
Who does your?
We do.
Oh, you do all of it. You got the
He
cameras
does the
and
music.
everything.
I
I do
produce
the
the music.
music
She does
videos.
the music videos, and we call in a lot of our friends. We've had Panama City Dance Academy, Pirates of the White Sands, Panama City Comedy was in
Tam
our
Taylor,
last one.
who was just in Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, Tam Taylor. She was in our Hell's
Britt
Hot video.
Reynolds, who was on New York City Fashion Week. Both local girls.
So we love to call up our friends and bring in. We're trying to bring the community in and trying to bring the community together. And
Yo, bro, we want to be in a music video.
let's do it. Let's
You
do
can be
it.
in a music video. Sure, we can make that happen.
We can make it happen.
Like it's just gonna be one shot of like me down in a beer. It's just like one. It's like 0.2 seconds. It's like, bloop. Oh, Ron was in there somewhere.
We'll find a place for you.
That would be funny.
But yeah, we're gonna do a funder for the Southern Gothic music video, and like if our fans are listening to this, and we told you guys we would tell you what happened at Pirates Voyage. We can't lie; it's been really, really rough. But I believe that we have stood up for our values that we have stood up for the entire time that you followed us. Crowd
Your
fundraiser.
fans wanted to know what happened. There you go.
Yes, our fans wanted to know what happened, and if you follow Jack and Jen, we literally say that we stand up for integrity and that we stand up for the people of Bay County. I've always been very passionate about my people and who we are, and you know, we've gone through a lot after Hurricane Michael, and my heart has always been just to be sure that we all have a voice and that we have a say in the changes in our city, that we're still here, that we still deserve a spot. And even though there's a lot of changes, we deserve a place here, not to be disregarded or treated like we're second rate because we're from here. And so I want to let y'all know, the fans, that when the moment came where I was offered, you know, an actual good paying gig to shit on y'all, I didn't. And I stood up for y'all. And so I hope you'll remember that when you're booking your venues and when you're privately talking amongst people, that I now have a documented letter from a lawyer where a multi-million-dollar corporation offered us a few $1,000s when I was really struggling to not tell you this story and to turn my back on everything that I have ever believed in and ever stood for. And I didn't take the money because I love you all. And I have always wanted only to be a musician in Bay County. If I wanted to be some rich and famous whoever, I would have moved to Nashville, I would have gone to LA, I would have gone to Chicago or New York. I never did that. All I wanted to do was play music in Bay County. And I hope when you hear this story that maybe you'll think a little better of me and you'll think a little better of my partner. And we have a Southern Gothic album coming up because we've learned that that's y'all's favorite music to hear from us.
And we have been through the ringer, so we have some stories to tell in our songs.
Yep. We have a crowd fundraiser. We're going to try to raise about $5,000 to fund this new Southern Gothic album. And if you donate to that crowd fundraiser, it will help us continue.
Yep.
Oh, Beck Avenue.
Yep.
We have a whole song
We
called
did with Phil
Beck
Mercer,
Avenue.
who I know you've interviewed.
Oh yeah.
We did it at his recording studio.
All of our songs are featured in the Panhandle of Florida, so, and specifically in Bay County. So we have the Salty South album, which is all the genres that I grew up listening to in the Panhandle and specifically in Bay County. So when we were talking about doing an album, you know, he's like a reggae guy. He's the happy-go-lucky guy. He loves playing music that's just bright and bubbly. And I'm a little more reserved and a little bit more serious, and I prefer the darker Southern Gothic metal influence,
I've been getting
punk
into that,
stuff.
by the way.
Yeah.
You're saying Southern Gothic. I've been listening to it a lot here recently.
Yeah, it's picking up.
Yeah. Who's that? The guy, he did, we'll talk about it afterwards. I'll cut that out. Sorry.
I love that. Just
No. I love the Southern Gothic style of
it's
music
starting
now.
to
That
grow.
like little.
Yeah, it is a stomp and a clap.
Yeah,
and like
and
a
it's like-
badass acoustic or electric riff.
And what got me into it is, as stupid as it may sound, so I'm like a big Spotify guy, right? So for years, I used to go out and I would like just run for hours and hours and hours. I was training for marathons and stuff, but I would always just like randomly put in like a genre of music and I would just listen to it. So like I had like an EDM?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, it's a big style.
An EDM like phase that I went through. And then there towards the end before I got hurt, Yeah, it was like a Jason Momoa movie that I had seen, and there's like this song, and it was just like, I don't like the way that sounds. What genre is it?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because it's not country, it's not bluegrass,
It's not.
it's not. It's
yeah.
like in between. It's
Sometimes
like,
it leans a little, like sometimes it leans country or it leans folk. We lean a little rock, but it is this like
Swamp rock.
ultimate.
Yeah.
It's like this new genre.
yeah. So like when I looked up this song, it was like it falls under gothic rock, and I was like,
yeah,
or gothic country, gothic southern
Yeah,
gothic,
yeah.
and then there's all different, and all of those are different, the gothic styles of stuff. And then I was just kind of like, this is pretty cool. Like, and so, but yeah, I like that style. I haven't heard you guys perform ever, so.
Oh, we can perform
I have
right
the
now. if
guitar
you
right
want.
now. You want to hear one?
No, that,
Yeah?
sure.
Let's
We'll give you one.
We've got a couple songs.
Yeah.
We should start with Death Roll. So this is our hit. This is what got us to national radio on the Steve and Johnny show. We've been playing on 97X and NPR. It's a very special song to me growing up in Florida. So here we go. Mama said, don't go to the water at night. There are creatures there that hang out of sight with white mouths and toothy grins. These dragons know all about sin. They'll take you down in a death row. 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 Ooh. Mama said, don't you go near those reeds. Yeah, these creatures ain't like you and me. They hang in the shadows where you can't see it. Take it down deep just to say. Take you down in a death row. Take you down in a death row. Take you down in a death row. Take you down in a death row.
Dragons are real and they're here in the sound. So don't fall into the devil's mouth. Dragons are real and they're here in the sound. So don't fall into the devil's mouth.
They'll take you down in a death row. Take you down in a death row. Take you down in a death row. Take you down in a death row.
Yeah. I don't understand why you couldn't make that a pirate theme.
We had some cool pirate songs, that's for
We did a
sure.
bunch of shanties.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Well, we got another one for you since you like the Southern Gothic stuff. This one's called Bootstrap. So I grew up with the whole idea to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, baby. So this song's about that proverb. Here we go.
That's not bad.
They're similar. I look like I crept from a swamp, boots on my feet, and soaked in turpentine. Got lips like a largemouth bass. You better throw me back. I got a lot on my mind. Times ain't been easy. I missed a few Sundays. Meemaw prayed that I'd find my way. She said the devil himself leads from the music I play. Daddy said, pull yourself up. your bootstraps, baby. Nobody gonna come to your rescue. There's no crying in the boxing ring. Step up, take your shot. Here comes the swing. Ooh, well, I combed my hair and I got my education. Got back to town and I caused a sensation. They don't care for the music I play. The town gossip labeled me the local crazy lady. Good God Almighty, call the authorities. It must be a cold day in hell when the people of the South miss the toll of the bell. Preacher said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, baby. Nobody gonna come to your rescue. There's no crying in the boxing ring. Step up, take your shot. Here comes the swing. From the bayous to the boardrooms, boots on my feet and my tongue slick with rhyme. I walk into those high-class tombs and you'll never guess what I ever did find. There's no pockets in their shirts. There's no rips in their ties. And what do I observe? I look down to their feet, there ain't a boot inside. But Daddy said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, baby. Nobody gonna come to your rescue. There's no crying in the boxing ring. Step up, take your shot. Here comes the swing. So what happens now?
Oh my God.
What happens now? What happens now? What happens now? Daddy said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, baby. Nobody gonna come to your rescue. There's no crying in the boxing ring. Step up, take your shot. Here comes a swing. Preacher said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, baby. Nobody gonna come to your rescue. There's no crying in the boxing ring. Step up, take your shot. Here comes a swing.
You got a tip. Woo! Do that. This is the cheapest show you guys have ever done for somebody.
Thank you, thank you.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Well, there you go. There's your Southern Gothic.
We got a whole slew of new ones coming too.
So we got a crowdfunder coming up. We would appreciate y'all's support. We've done 3 albums for absolutely free.
Just perform for me for free.
Yeah, we've done several shows.
Going somewhere. Everybody keeps saying I'm a nobody. I'm like,
It's just for you, my
I
man.
just had somebody that's like, I'm coming on your show and I'm gonna play a jack.
Right.
Yeah, man. I'll just keep drinking beer.
No, we love to write music, and we love outlets like what you're doing to perform and share to a new audience. So
I appreciate you letting us
we
tell
appreciate you and
this story.
and what you're doing. Yeah, man, I think it's awesome what you're doing. Like, giving the community a place to speak. So we can't be silenced, and I thank you for that.
Yeah. It really is a thing.
It's a thing.
It'll catch on.
Yes, I believe
Promise.
that.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, and by the way, you guys are always welcome here. So anytime
you.
you guys want to come on, let me know.
Right on.
Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Cool.